Hey guys, today is a little bit exciting because I'm actually going to start putting things into the bus instead of stripping stuff out. I'm going to be starting on the internal framing, so I've got my timber ready to go and I'll show you what the plan is. So the plan is to start with that for each one of these bays between the steel uprights of the frame, I'm going to put a bottom plate, a top plate, and two sort of vertical studs down each side of the steel. So this is 70 by 35 mil framing timber, and the plan is for the bottom plates and for the studs that I'm going to be putting on either side of the steel uprights here, I'm going to actually be bolting the timber through the steel. So that'll well and truly secure the timber onto the frame of the bus. And I'm also going to then glue the back sides of the timber onto the aluminium composite panel. So hopefully, you know, as well as providing the foundation for the internal stuff that I'm going to be building inside the bus, this will just give the panels a little bit of extra support, because I'm also going to be putting, you know, other studs in between as well, and window frames and so on. So all of that is going to be glued to the panels, so that should hopefully give them a little bit more support. And once they're a little bit more secure and stable, I should be able to properly seal the joins on the outside and not have them move around too much. So my plan with the uprights is to put a piece of timber on either side and bolt them all the way through. So the timber will be well and truly secured to the steel frame of the bus, and then I'll be able to secure the rest of my internal frame and the wall linings, etc., onto these studs here. Okay, so these are all my vertical stud pieces that I've already pre-cut. So obviously each bay has two of these. It has one on the left and one on the right inside the steel frame. These are all number 2s, which are the right-hand side ones, and these are the ones that I have to countersink the bolt hole. So you can see here, this one I've already done. So I've got the bolt hole for the bolt going through the timber already, and I've countersunk it so that when I put my bolt in, it'll go nicely through the hole. The main reason I've done this is just purely because of the length of the bolt that I have. These bolts need to go through 2 of these timber pieces on either side of my 50mm box section of steel, of the steel frame. So these are 130mm bolts, and if I didn't countersink it, there wouldn't be quite enough to properly tighten up the nut on the other side. Ideally, I would have liked to get, say, 140mm bolts, but I just couldn't get them in this size. So I'm going with what I've got, and that's the main reason why I'm countersinking it. So it's not a big deal to do that. And then once I've done the bolt holes, I'm then going to also pre-drill some smaller holes for screws, because these things will be attached to the steel with the 2 bolts, and then in between I'm going to put some screws in as well to make sure it's well and truly secure. Now the bit I'm using for this is a 25mm spade bit, and you can see that it's got this notch on it that's marked in blue, and that's actually just the perfect height, perfect depth for me to make the countersink hole, because my cup head of my bolt fits just nicely in there. So I'm taking the hole down to roughly in line with that blue section. So now that I've got the countersunk hole done, I'm going to drill right through the hole for my bolt, and because I'm using M8 bolts, I'm using an 8.5mm drill bit, which means the hole will be just big enough to let the bolt pass straight through.